Okay, we'd like to welcome you to Facebook Fabric Chicks Live at Noon with Fabric Chicks Live at Noon. Whatever. So for the first couple minutes, we just kind of kick it around. I want to remind everybody to sign up for Linda McGeehee's class tonight. It's all about zippers and how zippers are super easy. So we still have room for that, so you can join our Zoom tonight. Super easy to sign up. Just go to our website. All right, today we're going to welcome Bernadette from Wonderfil Threads, and I'm just going to bring her right onto the stage because you guys see me enough every day. Let's see. I don't know. My husband usually is the one who does the filming. Okay, all right, so welcome, Bernadette. Where are you? You're from Wonderfil Threads, and do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm based out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. You asked me before how I started quilting, and it was kind of on a dare because I originally was a kinesiologist and did sports medicine. So that's where I started. And I started quilting, and then while I was in Calgary, I was here in 1993. I really couldn't find a really great quilt store, so I opened my own quilt store in 99 and ran that for 15 years and got to know Andrew and Wonderfil and all the threads and stuff. And then one day I decided to close my store, and so I just said to Andrew, I'm going to come work for you. So that's what I do now. So
perfect. So tell us a little bit about Wonderfil Threads, because I've known about you for a long time, but a lot of times when I'm talking to my customers and trying to convince them why Wonderfil Threads are so amazing, they often say, well, I've never heard of that company. But you are out of Canada, so that could be part of the issue. But tell us, like, when did the company get started and a little bit about the company?
So Wonderfil started probably about 30 years ago, and they really were into manufacturing industrial threads, so rayon threads for industrial use in the fashion industry and stuff like that. And so it's got a slow start more into the quilt world, but we have 3 factories. We now have 2 factories in China. And we've slowly diversified our threads. So we were really big into rayon threads for embroidery and stuff like that. And then slowly we've diversified. We now have 34 different lines of thread, and we produce all of them. We manufacture them ourselves. So Andrew, the owner, and his family, he actually flies to Egypt and he picks the cotton, and we pick the best quality of cotton that we can find. So it's Giza 88, which is the highest quality for making thread. And then we do all the testing for it and the manufacturing of it. So we spin it, we dye it, we process it from beginning to end. And then here in the Calgary office, we do all the graphics for the boxes, and we get to pick all the colors, and we warehouse it here. So, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, wait, let me see. If you girls have any questions throughout this, Bernadette will be happy to answer it, or she'll make something up. Gosh, there's quite a few on. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so when you say that you've got over 30 different lines of fabric, or
thread.
Sorry, it's been one of those mornings. Not enough coffee, maybe, or too much. I don't know. What is the difference? Like, what's your extremes? You go from like 100 weight to 4 weight.
We go from 100 weight. I don't think I have 100 weight. Just a sec, we'll find you 100. We go from 100 weight thread, which is cottonized polyester thread, all the way up to a 3 weight cotton thread. So it's super thick. So here, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that?
Yep, we can.
It's super, super, super thin. So this is the thinnest thread we manufacture, and it's a cottonized polyester. And I'm going to explain that a little bit to you, what cottonizing means. It's a process that here at Wonderfil that we do to our thread, and it reduces the stretch. So most polyester you'll find is super stretchy. This is not. and it also takes away the shine. So you're not getting that reflective quality that you see, with monofilament threads and stuff like that. There is, even though they're clear or gray, there's a certain amount of light reflecting back from you. This one, you'll get the least amount of light reflecting back at you.
Right.
This is the smallest. And then the thickest one we have.
Do you guys do a monopoly, or you just do the Invisifil?
We just do the Invisifil,
right.
which I
do not like.
Yeah.
I don't really like the monopoly.
Yeah, and it's manufactured, the Invisifil, because it's a poly, you can iron it, and then you can, it just works super well in a lot of applications, right? This is the 3-weight. Here, I think you can see it up here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see how much thicker that is?
Yeah. So of course, you wouldn't be able to run through your top sewing guide and through your needle.
No. So if you're looking, so if you're talking about thread weight, so 100 weight is our thinnest thread we manufacture, and then the 3-weight is the thickest thread we manufacture. So I'm going to show you a little 12 weight. 12 weight. 12 weight is the thickest thread that will run through your needle. Mm-hmm. So as your top thread, okay? Once you get to 8-weight, 3-weight, 5-weight, they're great for couching. So I can show you a little example here. Normally I say we start our thread journey with a 50-weight cotton. So this is your 50-weight cotton that you would normally see. And our cotton, we double gas it, and that is something that a lot of threads aren't done in the industry. So it has a really good strength. It's a 3-ply thread with a very, very low lint. Are you there? I don't know if they're there. Hello? I think they disappeared. Annie? Are they still on? Oh, can you still hear me? Because Beth is gone. Are you still there, Beth?
Sorry, I just making you big so that you could talk.
Well, I was like, where did she go? Am I still there? I'm so sorry.
No, it works differently on my iPad than on my computer. So I pushed the wrong button, and then you couldn't hear me. So sorry about that.
Well, I thought maybe we just got cut off completely. So I was like, okay, am I like in this little tunnel all by myself here? Yes, but yeah.
Videoing,
so anyway,
technical. We were meant to be creative and crafty.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Technical is a whole different world, right? That's for somebody else. So, so I usually say our thread journey starts with 50-weight cotton because, that's what everybody talks about. That's what, you first start sewing with. That's what most people piece and quilt with is 50-weight cotton thread. Wonderfil's 50-weight thread is a 3-ply. So it's a nice round thread. It fits really nicely into your seams. And this 50-weight cotton, I'll just show you a little sample here. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Well,
so you quilted with 50-weight? That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is all hand quilted with 50-weight cotton thread.
That's got great dimension for a 50-weight.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's because it's double gassed, it's super easy to go through your fabrics.
So, and you can hand quilt with the 50-weight. Do you have to add a wax or anything to it?
Generally not. My friend Nicole, my friend Jen did this one, but Nicole has quilted lots of quilts for me with 50-weight cotton, especially when I had my store and I didn't have time to quilt them myself. And she didn't use any beeswax or any sew fine or anything like that, or any thread heaven. She just basically used the cotton right off the spool.
Interesting.
It does depend on what batting you use. So, if you use the batting more like warm and natural that has a thicker scrim in it, you're going to have way more drag on your needle in that. So you might have to at that point. But with Thermore or with just a nice request cotton batting,
Right.
it works for any kind of poly. It works great. So this one is all done by hand, but I wanted to show you this one too. This is a little.
Oh, that's adorable.
And can you see it up close?
Yeah. Yep.
So that was all pieced and all quilted with confetti, which is our cotton thread. So it does a really nice job. And I mean, different thread weights. We were talking about the 34 different thread lines. Different thread weights just allow you to do different things when you're quilting, right? So you can create more dimension and you can see different things that you can do with it. So this is one little example I wanted to show you. This is 50 weight on an embroidery machine. And I'm just going to flip it over. Can you see that's 12 weight?
Okay.
So that is the thickest thread that'll go through your needle. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to flip it like this.
I'm going to make you big. Okay. Oh, there's quite a difference in the dimension.
Right.
Yes.
So that depends on, what do you want to create in your project, in your little art quilt? What do you want to say? What do you want to do? You can use those different threads to create that different dimension, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
12 weight is the magic number. You have to remember 12 because 12 goes through your needle. Okay.
Right. Okay, I've got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
Says 50 weight is good for thread painting. Christy says, how are you different from your competitors?
In 50
right there, Christy. Yeah, what makes you stand out from your competitors who are selling the comparable type of threads?
So our cotton thread is our cotton 50 weight thread is a 3-ply thread. So you're going to have more strength because it's 3-ply, it's wrapped like a rope. So you're going to get a little bit more strength on that. Because we also double gas our thread, you're going to have way lower lint. So as I was showing you, when that was hand quilted, that piece was hand quilted, you're going to have a lot less drag. So you're going to be able to load more stitches onto your needle. It'll go through that fabric much smoother and much nicer. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's double gassed. We make it from Giza 88 cotton. So it's a really long staple Egyptian cotton. And it's a cotton that comes from Egypt. So that's also gives it more strength and more durability. And we do all that testing for it as well.
Perfect. And then Penny says, what size needle would you use with the 12 weight threads?
I tend to personally use now. It depends on what you're doing. If I'm doing, I tend to use a 16/100 super non-stick needle. It's a Schmetz needle. And I really, really like that needle for our 12 weight thread. So we have like the 12 weight cotton, the 12 weight glamour, which is rayon with one strand of metallic.
That's my favorite. I use that a lot.
Yeah, it's this one here. And we also have accent, which is the same as this. It's a 12 weight. Can you guys see that?
Yep. And I demo with that exact one a lot because I love a little shimmer.
Yeah.
3 and 5 are probably good for wool applique.
3 and 5 is really good for wool applique. I might have a sample down here that I can show. Oh, here, let me show you this. This is a fun little drop cloth sampler. I don't know if you guys are hand stitchers or not, but this one's fun.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So you can see in there, there's the razzle and the dazzle. That's the 8-weight. And you can also see a little bit of 3-weight in the Pro Cotton up here.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
And then Penny wants to know, what tension do you use with the 12-weight and what do you use in the bobbin?
Oh, good question. Because we manufacture 80-weight, which is called our Deco Bob, and we have pre-wound bobbins, I generally will put my pre-wound bobbin into my machine, and then I will use the 12-weight on top. Perfect. So this is our pre-wound bobbins. So we have them in a size L, a class 15, and an M bobbin for the long arm machines, some long arm machines. They come in little packages like this.
Okay. And do you prefer the 80-weight in your bobbin as opposed to the 100-weight in your bobbin?
Yeah, because they're pre-wound, right? So the 80-weight is going to give you a little bit more strength. It's able to grab that top thread down and hold it down. Because it's cottonized, it's going to give me some stability there. It just runs super smoothly. And once I've got my machine bobbin tension set for 80-weight, I rarely change it unless I will put like an 8-weight in my bobbin if I want to do bobbin work. Then I usually have a different bobbin case for that because I like my bobbins just to be perfect, right? Like I want my tension to be perfect. And then I only have to play with my top tension. When I use a 50-weight or a 12-weight on top, any of these, or, when I use the Glamour or the Accent, then I can, I don't have to play as much. The only time I will use the top and bottom the same is when I'm doing a project where I'm seeing both sides of it, maybe like in a freestanding lace embroidery or something like that.
Right. And Penny, you want the 1600 Schmidt's nonstick needle, she said. And then also, do you provide a chart with different threads, needle size, tension, etc.?
Yeah, we do. We have a trifold. Do I have one here in the office? I don't have one here, but it's a trifold, and I think I put some in your order, and it'll tell you all the different threads and then what it's manufactured, like what its material is. So if it's cotton or poly or rayon or metallic, and then it'll give you the recommended needle size. And when I say that, it's recommended, right? That is depending on what you're doing with it. You might have to change your needle up or down a little bit depending on the material you're stitching through. If you're stitching through a really, really stiff batik, you might have to use a Microtex or a sharper needle. And then that particular needle has a smaller eye. So then you're going to have to compensate for that depending on what thread you're using. Okay?
Perfect.
So they're all sort of dependent on that.
Right. And I think most of that information that would be on the cheat sheet would be also in your Exploring Threads journey book.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of that is in there.
So if you girls have taken my thread class, you have the book with all the information. All you have to do is open it up and read it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to push them to actually read it.
Well, sometimes you have to look at where to find it. But sorry, thanks, Annie. Annie just grabbed one of these for me. So this is like a little thread guide. And if you look on here, you can see this is, well, I have to get my hand going in the right direction here. This is our 8, 5, and 3-weight thread. And then down here in the bottom, the pink one is the 100-weight. And then underneath, it'll tell you all the information about the thread. And then on the back, it will also give you you know, the bobbin chart as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
My gosh, they're all commenting because they have most of the people watching have the book. They've never opened it.
Oh, they better open it. There's
Right.
lots of fun stuff to do. And
Exactly.
on the Wonderfil website too, we do have a media and resources, so they'll be able to get any information on there. There's a hints and tips column, and they can get information. But most of that information is right here, and I can certainly send you. I think I sent you some of those brochures as well.
Okay. And I probably have some upstairs because I usually give them out to the ladies that sign up for my thread class.
Right.
Which we have a thread class, girls, coming up if you want to experiment with your threads later, I think in April, maybe. I don't know. Christy will post the dates.
Okay, you have to play with your thread because thread gives you so much fun. Can I show you something that's kind of cool? I think it's cool. Like, look at this.
Oh, how adorable. Oh my God.
This is all thread painted with different weights of thread. So this is let me see. Can you see that there? So the background is all stipple quilted with metallic, and then you can see around Rudolph's horns. This is all done with 12 weight thread.
Now, so did you do that?
No, one of the other girls here did this because I haven't had a whole lot of time to be quilting, so I was just showing you some cool samples that are here. I did the other one.
That one would be a fun one to do if somebody wanted to teach it as a Zoom class for us. So that the ladies to actually get the threads out of their pretty little boxes. Not that I'm talking about anybody's money, but
yeah, they're fun. This is another one. This is one that's
beautiful.
It's Scrappy Tulips, and this one here is, you can see the background is there's a lot of just quilted texture, but you can see on the tulips we used a bunch of different threads as well.
Right. And I think that that's the key to learning what your threads can do for you and your projects is to just start playing with them. Katrina wants to know, do you supply to places in Australia?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We actually have a warehouse there. If you go to Astor and Ann, I'm trying to think of her name. Her name escapes me. Jennifer Moore. And then there's different stores. I know Material Girls has our thread. They do a lot of our, like the pearl cottons and that. Who else is in Australia? Let me think for a minute. So this is for those hand peeps out there. This is all done with our thread. And if you look really closely in this section here, see the can you see that? The black?
Yeah.
So the thickest is our 3 weight, but these are all done with all the different weights of black and gray thread.
I love that.
And then the next one over, this one here, this is all done with different razzle and dazzle.
And I think that's what really drew me to Wonderfil was all the different specialty threads. You know,
look at this one. This is just flat locking on your with accent, which is a 12 weight just rayon thread. How fun is that, right?
Yes.
And then what other one do I have here? These are all the different colors of Fabulux. So you can see how different they look on a light background or on a dark background. And I'm just gonna, those are all, well, they're a bunch of our different variegated ones. And then what else do we have? Oh, this is Glamour. So you can see it on like a
little bit of sparkle.
little bit of sparkle. So those are those. What else do I have? Oh, how many of you guys use Invisifil?
Me.
Okay, I love Invisifil. So if you're ever doing any raw edge applique or using it on a vintage piece, so here's a little piece that's raw edge applique and quilted with Invisifil, and you really can't tell that it's not done by hand because you're not seeing the thread at all. And then this one here is a vintage block that I took. And then, those old doilies.
Yeah, girls, they were just asking what to do with their doilies. Here you go.
Yeah, so I cut it up. And then if you look really closely, I just quilted it down with Invisifil. I just stitched it all down so that you couldn't, and it doesn't take away from the vintage block or the doilies.
Right.
How cool is that, right?
That's beautiful. Well, and really the trick is you just have to know what weight thread you need for what project to achieve the effect you want. And you'll never know that unless you play with it.
Here's another little one. Here's a trapunto done on a batik print. So this is all Invisifil. What else do I have here? How many of those guys out there have sergers? This is kind of fun. You can use like your razzle and dazzle and your loopers and your 12 weights. And then these are 3-dimensional leaves. And they're all done with razzle and dazzle. And just creating different textures with the different variegated threads and the different weights of thread. So if you want to see it or if you don't want to see it, right? Are you guys still there?
Yeah, they're there. Poor Mary, she says Invisifil. But Mary, it's so easy to use. It's not like the mono poly that will get all crazy in your machine. It works just like every other thread.
Yeah, mono poly is stretchy and it gives you a lot of flex in the needle, and sometimes that creates a lot of tension issues because our Invisifil and DecoBob are 80 weight cottonized. It's cottonized poly, so it reacts like cotton, which is what we're most familiar to sew with, right?
Right.
So yeah, so that's fun. Do you want to see a couple more quilts?
Yes.
Or some little projects?
Oh, they want everything.
They want to see everything?
Yeah.
Okay, I did make this one. And this was an experiment of using sparkly threads and different weight threads. So I don't know if you can see, but here, this is done with 12 weight. And then in here, the green is the glamour.
Okay, yeah.
And then here, I used a 40 weight. So this is a 40 weight here, but a 12 weight here.
Right. So it has more dimension where the 12 weight is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know if I can get close enough. Is that just a sec? We're going to do a little camera.
The girls said, yes, everything. We're very nosy. And Diana says she loves the Invisifil. She uses it on the back of her quilts.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to use the DecoBob because it comes in the pre-wound bobbins, and I'm a little bit lazy. It's nice to get that perfect thing. But can you see the different dimensions on this quilt with that?
Yes.
Okay, so there's that one. Oh, and then this one is done mostly with Fabulux. Don't look too closely because this one was one when I was playing, when I first was learning to quilt. Here, you can show this one up close too. Annie's here helping me. So this is like a variegated one. And then you can see the over here. And then let me show you. There's some really cool neon ones. The neon yellow.
Oh,
down
yeah.
here.
That really stands out.
Doesn't it stand out? Like you probably wouldn't think it would, but it
Right.
really stands out. So yeah, so it's fun to play with variegated and stuff like that. And then just one more, Annie. This one here I was playing around with. This is, you know, we're from Calgary, so you know the Calgary Stampede is a big thing out here. So this is my cowboy quilt.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Fabulous.
So on this one here, on the shirts, I really didn't want the thread to show. So this is all quilted with Deco Bob. And then on the jeans, and you can see up here, I didn't really want this thread to show. So that's all quilted with Deco Bob. And then on the jeans, this is all 12 weight thread. And I use different colors.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see it on the jeans.
And then different, this is accent, so it's a little bit shinier. And Silco would be great to work, to quilt on some of these as well. So that was kind of fun to do. And what else have I got to show you here? Our metallic threads, I know you guys play with that. So on your sewing machine, this is going to be a little bag. So you can see I've used metallic and then mirage thread on there. And just using your decorative threads, right?
Yes, the decorative stitches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then couching is always fun.
So you would have to couch if it was a 3-weight or a 5-weight or an 8-weight.
Correct.
And for those what couching is where you lay the threads down and then you just stitch over them with either a zigzag stitch or a decorative stitch or some kind of a stitch.
Yeah. So you can use, if you don't want the stitches to show, you can use Wonderfil. But here, if you look really closely on some of these, you can see how that metallic is showing up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the metallic thread is couching down the 3 strands of Razzle and Dazzle. So that's one. I dug this one out.
Oh, that's beautiful. That really shows it.
Yeah. And, you know, then I just wanted to add a bunch of, so you can do whatever you want with it. You can trace around stuff. You can add it to it. This is going to be a little, you know, for those 5 o'clock afternoons when you really need a martini.
Right.
So,
well,
so this is all
wait till 5.
So that's all quilted with Wonderfil, and then on this side is just a bunch of playing with Razzle and Dazzle.
So did you couch all 3 threads at the same time?
Yeah. So there's my threads.
Yeah.
And I just laid those threads down, and then I just got my other thread on top, and I just stitched it in one go.
Right. I love that idea. I've never thought about couching more than 1 thread at a time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You have to couch them.
The light bulbs are going crazy.
Yeah, and then you guys know about our Mirage thread. So this is just a little sample using Mirage thread with your decorative stitches on your machine as well. And yeah. So do you guys have any more questions?
Okay, girls, do you have any questions besides Ann Linda Meyer, who wants to know if I ordered the 12-weight sparkling threads? And of course I ordered it. If you wanted it, I ordered it. I can't me. They love the cowboy quilts. So now if they're into embroidery, because I've got several of them that are watching, I personally don't do embroidery. So it's hard for me to buy for them because I have no idea what they want. But what would you recommend for embroidery machines?
Oh, you can do, there is a ton of embroidery. So you can embroider with the 12 weight thread cotton. It's going to give you a more vintage look. So it's going to look like, let me see, I might have.
So if you're late to joining us, we're interviewing Bernadette with Wonderfil Threads, and she is out of Canada.
Western Canada.
Okay.
Let me just grab some embroidery here.
Okay, girls, this is your chance to ask any questions that you
So
might have.
embroidery thread is really fun. And I know that you have D-twist. D-twist is really fun to embroider with. So that's 2 strands twisted together. So you can kind of get this kind of like a baker's twine look. Okay, so here is, this is Fabulous, or this is D-twist. And we have 20 new D-twist colors coming. So can you see how that gives that kind of really
closer?
Closer?
Yeah. There you go, girls. See how you can see the 2 different colors? So it's like a variegated thread, except for because it's twisted, you get equal amounts of the same colors. And
Right.
what we noticed is that when because a lot of times we'll run 2 threads through our needle at the same time, but
Right.
one seems to kind of lay on the bottom and kind of disappear more than the other. But with the D-twist, they both come out at the same time. So you see both of them. It's fabulous.
Can you see that?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so that's the thread. It's the 2 colors twisted together.
Poor Lynn, she says 20 more D-twists. She's going to have to get more storage space. Lynn told her husband to buy a bigger house. I talked to him the other day. He said it'd be fine.
This is another one that's done with Splendor. So that's the solid. But if you look at the leaves really closely and the inside, you can see that's done with D-twist.
Beautiful. I love it. And was that a machine embroidery or a...
Yeah, it's machine embroidery. So you have, your stabilizer on the back. Mm-hmm. And then lots of times we use a grid with rinsing gone to make sure that it doesn't pucker.
But they could also do that with hand embroidery too. They could use the D-twist.
Yeah. So embroidery machine. What about this one? Beautiful. This is our metallic.
Oh my gosh. That is stunning.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then
killing me.
This one is.
They want to know if you offer boxed color palettes. How many times, girls, have we had the boxed color palettes on the Friday sale? You girls are killing me with questions. I think they might not ever open their boxes. Like their boxes are sitting there on their front living room or something, not opened.
They're just a collection. And just another thing to note with our variegated threads, they are random dyed. So you're not going to get a lot of striping on there. They're not like, some companies do like a 2-inch repeat or a 3-inch repeat. Ours are random in placement and random in length. So you get a much more random color palette. Look at how cute this is with Easter coming up.
Oh, it's adorable. So really they could use any of your 40 weights, 50 weights for embroidery, 12 weights.
Yep.
Anything they wanted.
And you can use cotton, or you can use rayon, or you can use polyfast. And we also have, Can you hang on one second? I'm
Yep,
just going to
yep.
go run to the other room and grab something for you
Okay.
guys. I'll be right
Carolyn,
back.
I saw your deers with the thread painting. They were fabulous. So if you guys don't know, you can join our Fabric Chicks Stitch Along, and there everybody posts whatever they're working on. It's right on the side of our Facebook page. If Christy has reception, I know last time she posted she was in Tonopah, but she'll post the link to our Fabric Chicks Stitch Along, and we also have a Fabric Chicks Textile Artist Group, which is where we kind of experiment with all the different threads and different products like Wash Away and Fabric Magic. Don't get overwhelmed by the fact that we call it Fabric Chicks Textile Artists. Everybody in some form or shape is creative, and it's a very novice group. So a lot of the people, last month was our first project, which was the jellyfish, and the projects turned out amazing. So anybody, even if you don't think you're into the art stuff, you can join and experiment, because all we're basically doing is experimenting with different threads, different products, just doing small projects so that we can experiment and learn. And if you don't play with the different threads and the different products, you're not going to know what your options even are. Okay, Bernadette, take it away.
Okay, so lots of times we think that you can only embroider with 40 weight thread, because 40 weight thread is what they normally tell you to use, right? It's like when you're machine quilting. But look at the difference. This is 40 weight thread. Is this?
Here, I'm gonna make, there you go. Absolutely stunning. That's amazing.
Okay. So water soluble stabilizer, and then you're using the 40 weight top and bottom so that you get the same look. But then here, this is done, and I don't know if you can really see, this is done with 80 weight thread, top and bottom. So that's Deco Bob. And you can see that this is a lot more delicate than this one. And then look at, you can also do it with 100 weight. Can you see how much finer compared to the 40 weight? Whoa, there we go.
I know, I never know which way to go. It's beautiful, but they're both beautiful in their own ways. One is delicate and one's a little bit more there.
Yeah, so 40 weight, if you want to do stuff that's a little stiffer, or you're making something that's going to stand up, that's great. But if you want to put something on lingerie or on a wedding dress or something really fine and delicate, then look at how cool that is.
Right. And yet, Chris, you can use Invisifil on your regular sewing machine. It's absolutely, that is what it's created for.
Yeah. You just, we have to sort of learn to not be afraid of playing with our tension. So I usually, personally, I find that it's much easier for me if I use the 80 weight pre-wound bobbins first to get started, and I get my tension all set up with that. Then I try to consistently use this in my bobbin most of the time, unless, for something like this where you need the same weight and the same color top and bobbin and bottom. And then just play with your top tension. So when you have your 12 weight in there or your 100 weight, you can just play with that top tension, and you're not totally messing up with everything. It's not that hard. You just have to take a deep breath and say, I can do it.
Exactly. And Carolyn wants to know, what is Polyfast?
Polyfast is our polyester embroidery threads. It was developed for embroidery machines. So it's a 40 weight tri-lobal polyester thread. It's available in 210 colors, I think. Yeah, 210 colors. We're getting one here for you. And then the other one is is rayon, which is splendor. So can you see that? So this is what it looks like. And then this is the rayon. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Rayon, can you see how much deeper and richer that color is? And how the polyester has a bit of a glint to it?
Yeah.
And this will always stitch out softer and have more drape. So if you're working on a project that you want it to be drapier and softer, you're going to use this. If you want something that you're going to bleach and, you know, throw through the wash a million times, then you're going to use the Polyfast.
And then Leilani says, oh, I'm trying to read comments off my iPad and my phone, and they're like delayed. Leilani says, oh, we do projects using all kinds of threads and weights. Yes, in the textile group. And rayon really has a shine. Okay, girls, do you have any other questions? Because Bernadette says she's got to get back to work. No, it's like
I do.
While we're interviewing you, huh?
No, it's fun. It's always fun to be here because I like to go out and, you know, teach and see people at shows. And, you know, I haven't traveled anywhere since last February. So it's been kind of an interesting year.
Right. COVID's been an interesting year for all of us because
yes, that's for sure.
Make money and they all do shows to spend money. Oh, Penny says, what is the top tension for 12 weight threads in your machine?
Yeah, I don't know a magic number because every machine is different. The one thing I can tell you to do is, I wish I had a machine here. So have your thread go through your tension, and you know, just before it gets through the eye of your needle, take your thumb and forefinger and just gently pull it down. Okay? When you feel that, you will feel that it should move nicely, slowly, right? It shouldn't be tight and pulling, okay? So you really want to make sure that you can feel that thread move nicely, and then you can look at your machine and see what its top tension number is. Some people use a TOA gauge. I don't. I just use feel, and just knowing that it shouldn't be super slippery, right? And it shouldn't be super hard that I have to pull it through.
Right. So really, girls, you're on your own. Go experiment with your machine. The more time you spend with your machine, the better friend it's going to be to you. So the more you know about your own machine, because every machine is different. You just have to play with it. And sometimes you got to spend a little bit of time with your machine before your friends.
Absolutely.
And then, okay, so Penny just sent me a photo. So I'm going to show it to you. It is a quilt that she made using 100% Wonderfil Threads, and you might recognize this person.
Oh, I do. So she thread painted Andrew.
Yeah.
Yes, we should get him to come and say hi. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere in the office.
Yeah. So Penny's been on watching. She says, great advice. She's loved the interview.
Oh, well, thank you.
And they're all typing in now. Great information, lots to absorb. So girls, join us on Friday for our celebration at noon, because we will have Wonderfil Threads on the sale. And Bernadette, again, thank you so much for joining us. And
and thank you for having me anytime.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you at 2:00 for the Wild Wednesday Live. All right.
Okay. Bye.